All right. Welcome everybody. I'm setting up here, trying to get a good angle so I can see you all. As you're all coming in, just want to say, welcome. This is gonna be a super fun event. I just came back. I was traveling a bit, and I had a good question. I feel like all these meetings, they always start with, where's everyone from? What are you doing? But I had a really cool question. When you're flying, window seat or aisle seat? I'm super curious what everyone else chooses. So if you could put it in chat here, window, okay. A lot of windows. Come on, I'm an aisle seat guy for sure. I like spread. I want to have my one leg, be extended. At bad knees.
Like aisle for the quick escape, quick bathroom use.
Aisle. Okay, there we go. Aisle's coming around under 2 hour window. Window seats kind of scare me. I'm not gonna lie. I'm afraid of heights too, so I feel like that's also a reason why window seats don't work. I don't want to look out. Window all the way. Come on, Nancy, you gotta try an aisle seat. Like having your one leg extended and just resting normal. It's a good feeling.
Yeah, I don't know who would ever pick middle.
The middle. Okay, who likes the middle seat? Window. I feel less stressed during takeoff and touchdown if I can see the outside. Oh wow, Hope. I'm the opposite. I think I said I'm afraid of heights. Takeoff is never. I hate taking off. Middle, if I know it to around. That's true.
Fair.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm still not a fan though. I don't like the middle seat. It's like you're always fighting for elbow room. All right. Well, welcome everyone. I hope you all can see my screen. So welcome to the webinar, Creating a Nonprofit Marketing Plan to Boost Growth in 2023. I'm going to be going through this. My name is Ernie Civic. I'm the Director of Marketing here at Community Boost. And of course, you see Candace. Candace is the lovely face that's always running these events. But today she's not feeling super good. She's losing her voice. Is it COVID? Is it flu? Who knows what's happening nowadays?
We don't know yet.
I feel like the winter is getting to all of us. So I'm taking over obviously to go through this. So mind if I make any hiccups or mistakes, but super excited to be going through this with you and helping everyone really take charge of 2023 because it's going to be a really wild and fun year, especially for the nonprofit and the tech space. So knowing how to move around and kind of navigate through this 2023 year is going to be a really fun and exciting time. So Candace, do you have anything to say?
Thanks, Ernie, for jumping in. And I'm really excited to just kick off the webinar today. For any of you who don't know, this webinar is being recorded. So you're going to get a recording in your inbox tomorrow. And go ahead and keep engaging in the chat and put all of your questions for Ernie and myself in the Q&A pane. We'll get to those at the end.
Yeah, and I also just realized Candace is losing her voice, and I said, do you have anything else to say? So sorry about that.
No, it's all good. I'll jump in here and there. Just couldn't get through the whole thing with confidence.
All right, well, let's get into it. So if you don't know who Community Boost is, we only work with nonprofits. We think and breathe nonprofits. We really try to find every possible hack, missing piece to pretty much every nonprofit puzzle so we can help you succeed and crush your goals. So we exist to empower social ventures changing the world. It's been, a blast. I've been here for about 6 years, I think, 5 years. I don't know. In dog years, I think when you're doing marketing, it's in dog years. So I'm an old wizard ready to retire, but I've been here for a very long time. And it's been amazing to see everything, evolve on the tech side and on the marketing side and what's all possible and available for the nonprofit space. So I'm really excited to kind of share a lot of this with you all for 2023. But again, we're Community Boost. We exist to empower social ventures changing the world. We have 60 plus Rockstar team members, donated, revenue supported over $50 million. It's been really fun and directly, supported 500, probably more than that, but 500 nonprofits directly served. And through our nonprofit marketing summit, I'm expecting everyone here to be there. It's an all-out digital event, but over 50,000 organizations have been impacted through our nonprofit marketing summit. So as I'm going through the slide, the link is there. Register. It's completely free, 3-day event. You're going to learn so much. And it is the biggest nonprofit marketing event in the space. So be part of it. Go join. Just let it play in the background while you work. It's worth it. and you get all the notes, all the fun stuff. So who am I? My name is Ernad Civic. If you can't pronounce that, just go with Ernie Civic. But I'm the director of marketing here at Community Boost. I've been the Facebook area practice manager prior to that for a few years, and it's been really fun just pioneering the way Facebook works with nonprofits and finding a way for the nonprofits to succeed and drive ROI. So it's been really exciting to kind of work with a lot of you organizations and find ways to make Facebook and Instagram work for you and drive that ROI. So if you have any Facebook related questions after this, pop them in there. I would love to go over that stuff with you as well. But as I mentioned, I currently serve as our director of marketing, and it's been really fun to just kind of put on these events and work with Candace and just try to find as much value for you all as possible, especially going through this new year. So we've just been doing a ton of planning. So if you have all any ideas, please share those as well with us on this chat. And then Candace Cody, of course, is here. If she wants to introduce herself, Candace, you can, or I can do it. Your call.
I can introduce myself for a second. For those of you who aren't familiar with me, I'm the digital events manager here at Community Boost, and I do a lot of things like webinars like this that provide the education needed for you all to reach your goals and drive growth at your organization. And I have the amazing experience of planning the nonprofit marketing summit. So that's coming up February 28th through March 2nd. Ernie, you can go to the next slide. You can share a little bit more about the nonprofit marketing summit.
There it is. Awesome. So here's a nonprofit marketing summit coming up. It's February 28th through March 2nd. So please, like I said, it's a digital, online, completely free event. Doesn't cost you anything. So scan that QR code. I know you have your phones out. Someone here is texting during this right now. Click, pull up your camera, scan that code, register. It's gonna be super worth it. And it's, again, we bring on some of the best speakers. Honestly, I don't know if we're allowed to say who's coming now. Candace can share, but we have some really amazing speakers now. They're gonna teach you how to innovate and how to really take charge of your 2023. So please join us for the Nonprofit Summit. It's called the Big Innovation. So if any Big Lebowski fans out there, if you've seen the movie, that's the whole theme. And you get to see me wig, and I'm dressed up as the dude, so it'll be super fun. That was the fun part for me. Yes, Amanda watched it. Let's go. The meeting abides. So if you haven't watched it, I highly recommend you watch the movie too. So before we begin, have you created an annual marketing plan for your nonprofit before? So have you done anything, or have you even started creating one for the 2023 season? So please, there's a poll right there for you. Please go ahead and answer this poll. If you feel good about it, select yes, but it wasn't sure if you got it right. No, this is my first time. Let us know about your annual marketing plan. Have you created one before, or if you're doing one now? This is super helpful because we're going to be going over how to set this up for 2023, how to game plan, and how you can really take charge and take control of it. So cool. Select all your answers in the poll and we can get started. Sweet. So here's some poll questions here. No, it's my first time. 60% said no, it's my first time. 31% yes, but it wasn't sure if I got it right. 9% yes, and I felt good about it. Sweet. This is really exciting. So the fact that a lot of you are pretty new to it, it's going to be really exciting to kind of go through how you can strategize this. We do have the guide for this as well at the end, which will be super fun. And for everyone that does feel good about it, really excited to kind of dive into and see how we can improve it and make it better too. So let's jump into it. So on today's agenda, we're going to go with the case for creating a nonprofit marketing plan, how to create a 2023 marketing plan, and then of course, we're going to jump into Q&A, which I feel is always super beneficial. Cool. The case for creating a nonprofit marketing plan. So the first you want to do is you want to attract, engage, and retain. So you've probably heard this before, but when it comes to your organization and when it comes to your mission, you want to find a way. The first step to any strategy is how are you going to attract? Is it existing donors? Is it new donors? Is it followers? Who are you looking to get, right? And how do you plan on attracting them? And what channels do you plan on using first? So a lot of times, is it Facebook? Is it Instagram? Is it email? Is it in person? Or is it, physical mail? What is the attraction piece? Then once you figure that out, because that's really, really key, especially with, 100 different social media channels nowadays, how do you then engage these people, right? what is your action? What are we going to do? What are you going to put out that's going to help engage them, where you can kind of get that attraction piece you figured out. Now you got to engage them because they have to perform something for you. And then you turn over that retention, right? The engagement is them signing up, being part of the process, and then retaining them. So keeping them active, keeping them excited, keep that attention span, existing that, maintaining that attention span. And a lot of donors we see even in our space is, they may become recurring, donors, or they're followers of an org, but then sometimes they're not active. And what happens? Like, what was the drop off? So it's really good to kind of understand what makes your audience tick, what gets them to click and perform actions. And then that helps you create that retention process as well. So first thing is 4 ways to grow fundraising, right? So the goal is acquire more donors, increase average gift size, increase donor retention, increase your return on your investment, right? So if we're talking about the attraction pieces, these are the things that you want to do. These are also the ways you can engage your people as well. So what is a nonprofit marketing plan? And let's get into it, right? So nonprofit marketing plan outlines your marketing objective goals and the strategies needed to reach your goals. It is not a list of everything you need to do. So just want to touch base on that a little bit. Too often we connect with a lot of organizations that are like, this is what I have to do. This is what we need to accomplish for this year. And then you're kind of like checking it off. You want to think through the strategy process of how you're going to do this, right? Where are you going to be attracting these people? How are you engaging them? What are they clicking to? How are you personalizing the experience is, I think, the most effective, thing you want to think through. It's like, how are you going to personalize that experience to then retain or to get that end result, right? This is going to be, your strategy is the backbone of your marketing strategy that will guide your decisions year round. So when you have a really clear decision and you're saying, today we're going to focus on, for the whole year, we're going to focus on Facebook and Instagram. This is where our demographic is. Our goal is to drive followers, drive donations, and drive donations throughout the year, but ultimately win for year end. When you have that plan and you have that outline, set up, all of your decision-making stuff as well needs to revolve around that. You don't want to hop left and right between different decisions. Only reason for that is because you don't want to, start saying yes to everything. And if you do that, then you kind of start going off course, and then you also are drowning out in work. And we notice that a lot. So advantages of an annual nonprofit marketing plan. Yes, the presentation will be shared after the webinar. We'll email this to all the attendees. So you'll definitely have this as well. So advantages of an annual nonprofit marketing plan. So the first step is planning for growth, right? You want to plan for the future. Like, what are you going to do? You then want to choose the right strategies for your nonprofit, right? And what isn't right for you this year. The big thing I want to say there is really add in an A/B test type of strategy for yourself. You really want to do that. Whatever you tried in 2022, look at your data, look at your analytics, see if it worked, right? If you sent in mail, see if there's an ROI there. If there's no ROI, maybe this year for 2023, part of your strategy is building out a email, right? Maybe it's going digital. Or if you've gone digital, but you haven't had success, let's look through, like, how many different channels have you messaged out? What was the messaging like? And how can we update that and make it better? Then you want to guide decision-making on strategies throughout the year. Then you want to go ahead and set up your guiding process to kind of help you with all of that, right? So when you have that clear set strategy goal, you then want to help guide all of your decision-making to align with it. Next piece we want to go through is make success measurable, right? We want to track everything we do. We live in a digital world where it's no longer, you buy this billboard on the highway and based off the traffic that comes out, it kind of works. You want to track, what you're doing. You can't track success if you are not tracking your essential, all of your goals and all your conversions. So making sure your analytics are set up. For everyone that's here today, GA4 is happening. June, I think, is when a complete switch happens from Google Analytics to GA4. So please make sure you have that set up, and all the data is front facing, meaning that you have to set it up now to have that data for the future. It's not going to just switch over into GA4 from your previous analytics. So setting that up is that, step one. Make sure your Facebook pixel set up, all of those things. Then you want to support growth and opportunities 2023, right? So you want to spot new growth. TikTok is in. Are you part of it, right? Here's an opportunity. Are you utilizing Twitter? There's an opportunity. Are you taking, like, what have you done on Facebook and what haven't you? Instagram stories, reels. Reels are a great way to drive engagement for your organization, and it's completely free and it's really easy to use. So really identify those things and test and try new things. It's honestly the biggest piece you want to take with you, I would say, for today, is trying new things and A/B testing as we build out your strategy. Enable alignment across your team and board. Super important there. This helps you advocate for resources. Again, having other team members supporting you through this is going to help you kind of figure out, what you're going to do and some of the work that you can give away so you're not having to do everything yourself. So let's dive into this a little bit, right? So first thing I want to do is download your 2023 marketing plan template. So you don't have to write all the stuff out by yourself. We already created a template for you. So go ahead and scan that QR code, download it, and you can start kind of filling in. We've done a lot of the hard work for you. Just answer the questions, fill it out so you can have your game plan for 2023. So here's your template. It's really solid. We built it out, and I think it's going to help a lot. Cool. So how to create your 2023 nonprofit marketing plan? We want to go through the anatomy of a nonprofit marketing plan. So what are the things that are needed? I love templates too. It makes life so much easier. For everyone out there that's not using templates, especially for email, start doing those. It'll save you a ton of time in the future for sure. Cool. So what we want to do is we want to organize the summary of what we're trying to do. The QR code was cut off, so it wouldn't scan. This code right here, if it's not working, try it again really quick. But Candace also put it here in chat. So feel free to click that link and that might work for you as well. So when creating a really solid nonprofit marketing plan, you want to have an organization summary, right? What are you doing? What are you trying to do? The initiative is definitely the next piece. Then you want to go through a SWOT analysis. You want to identify your strengths and weaknesses. And then the biggest piece, honestly, for nonprofits is the opportunity part, right? It's like, what can you do? Threat also is really important. Like, what are you expecting? 2023 is going to could be a funky year. Like, how can we get ahead of it so it doesn't impact you, right? Target audience. This is definitely probably one of the top things that I want to make sure that everyone here takes away today is really understanding your audience to a T. So what we do here at Community Boost, we honestly like draw out our people. So I don't have my whiteboard here, but I typically write out a little stick figure. I give that stick figure a name, and I really try to write out its characteristics of who this individual is and how they're going to be the right fit for the organization. So do the same thing for your audience. Look at your donors, look at your followers, and identify who they are. Demographic, male, female, the age, where they live, income. Try to know as much, like their favorite color, the music they listen to. Try to know as much as you can about them, because this will help personalize your messaging with them to a whole new level, and you'll see a ton of success there. And we'll dive into it a lot more here soon. You then want to identify your donor personas, go through a competitive analysis, and define strategies, KPIs, and channels. But all of these we're going to go through, but just want to make sure that everyone's aware this is the key points for a nonprofit marketing plan. And this is what we use at Community Boost as well. So the 3 steps to create your marketing plan is your organization alignment, right? So you want to align marketing with organization mission plus overall goals. So what that means is really identifying what your organization is trying to achieve and what are you trying to do for 2023. A lot of the times it's, right, you're looking at driving more donors, or is it driving leads, getting people to register for something so you can collect more emails so you can have, accomplish A, B, or C. So really identify that will help you kind of set the strategic pace, because if it is focused on leads, you can run Facebook lead gen. That works really, really well. We can also focus on email, and now you don't have to think about TikTok or Instagram Reels or anything like that.
Yeah. I just want to jump in. The great part about an organization summary is that it just goes way back to the basics of just like what the core of your organization is and what you do. It can be really, really helpful. I know even for Community Boost, we have a document that just has all of like the basics of who we are, what we do, how many people work here, the overview. And then this is something that becomes an asset that you can refer back to all year round, and also use it to, check whatever your goals are and strategies, make sure that aligns with your mission as well. So if you want to do this whole awesome event that sounds really great, but then you look at your mission and your vision statement and it doesn't align at all, like, like that's not something that is part of your marketing plan too.
Yeah, 100%. And it's really important because, like I said, when we connect with a lot of organizations, even when it comes to their mission, it's understand your mission, but sometimes writing it down and pinpointing exactly what you're doing, what the cause is, and what you're really trying to accomplish, helps identify even your core audience, and you can start seeing exactly what you should be doing and what channels and where the attention should be going to. So, best practice for an organization summary. Here's a good one. There's a QR code you can scan right there that we created for you. But as you can see here, we kind of got to set up as your organization, the vision, and then your mission. And then writing these things down is really, like as we mentioned, it's important. But keep it short, present, visually, take a look at what's on your website, really try to pull everything in. And it's really amazing to kind of realign on what you're doing. We do this, like I said, at our company. We do it at Community Boost, all the time. We probably do it every quarter for us internally, because it helps us kind of stay aligned, and it ensures that we are only saying yes to the right events. We're creating the right, content for all of you, but also for our nonprofit partners. We really want them to truly, understand their goals and their mission and everything behind it, because it helps with your personalization when it comes to targeting your audiences as well. So make sure you get that nonprofit marketing template. I know Candace is putting it here in the link. And there's a lot of examples in there, so you can kind of take a look at them. Cool. So organization initiatives. These are your main initiatives that organization is aiming to achieve in 2023 to carry out your vision and mission. So for example, it's like fund plus launch a new program, retain more donors, raise 350,000, whatever your goals are, right? But you want to kind of break down your initiatives. So here's an example, like initiative 1, right? You want to raise 350,000 through digital fundraising. So it's really cool to write that down. And your description is, this year we'll work to raise 350K online. Goal of the initiative, we'd like to increase our fundraising through online channels throughout the year to capture plus retain more and younger donors. So that's a really big key there, because now we're starting to identify who are we going to be targeting and what the outlook is going to be for 2023. And then metrics to measure: monthly traffic to donation page and the conversion rate. So the way we do it is by having this, for example, like this example strategy is on a marketing side, we're now identifying what this audience is going to consist of who they are. And then we can dive a bit deeper into that, which we will later on. But also the metrics to measure is important, because we can start looking at the number of people going to our donation page versus the number of people completing. And then we can start figuring out if our donation page is resonating with the people going to the page. So if your conversion rate is 5%, 3%, 2%, it may need a change. It may need some love. You may want to attach some things that's going to speak to that younger demographic that you're trying to accomplish. But by having a really clear strategy for your marketing plan, it'll help you kind of identify those things as you're going into it. And for those of you that want to work with an agency, you can also, when you connect with us, you'll have a clear plan and play of what you're trying to accomplish versus just saying, we just want to raise 250K. And then kind of like, then you leave it up to everyone else to kind of test for you and figure out how to, get there. So gather data on KPIs from last year. So this is what we talked about, right? So if you're using Google Analytics, please make sure you switch over to GA4, because it's, forward facing data. So you want to make sure that you have it switched out so you can start collecting that data now. It'll help you for your 2024 planning. But you want to look at your KPIs. You want to look at what you did last year, average gift sizes, the number of donors you brought in, how much you raised online, kind of like really look at what you did year over year. It's super important. Too many organizations that we connect with don't look at their past numbers. Key performance indicators is what KPI stands for. And you want to kind of identify this to really truly figure out what you should do and where you should move in 2023. And this will help you. So if you didn't have a strong last year, let's look at what you did and write that down. And then in your strategy, let's kind of create a new page essentially of what we could do better. So best practices for organization initiatives. So you want to gather data on last year's performance, like we mentioned, Connect with your ED on major initiatives. So consider your biggest growth opportunities. Too often organizations don't really think about that. I would highly recommend you do is think about what is some of bigger things that could potentially help you drive a lot of donations that you have not tried, or you just didn't feel the organization was the right fit for it, or etc. So it'll be a really good idea to kind of look at that, talk with different people on your team, talk to your ED, but just see what you could be a part of. Consider the nonprofit marketing framework. So, 4 ways to grow fundraising: acquire donors, increase gift size, increase donor retention, and increase ROI. Think about that, right? It's like, how are we going to do that? And as you start kind of labeling your summaries out and you start kind of figuring out, for example, some of the bigger initiatives, you can kind of start filling in these gaps on some of those frameworks. And then you want to assign specific and measurable goals for each initiative. This is really, really important. You can't track what you can't measure, or you can't measure what you can't track, right? So if you are looking to acquire new donors, have specific tracking for those people so you know when new donors are coming in, who are they, how much are they giving, and what are they doing. If you want to increase the size of your donations, have a tracker for that as well. A lot of CRMs have that, or a lot of donation platforms have that. So if you're using Classy or Fundraise Up, right, they have this data and information. So please ask them for it. Increase donor retention. They also have this data. So look at it, see if your donors have been leaving or if they're growing. If that's the case, we can figure out you can start kind of planning a strategy for 2023 for that as well. So if your donors are leaving, we need to come up with like a really good marketing email thing that we can work on, right? But that helps align for what you're going to be doing for 2023. And of course, if you're trying to increase overall return on your investment, look at what you actually invested in 2022 and what you brought in, and then what should that growth be? So as you're building your strategy, don't just say we want to increase our ROI, but we want to increase our ROI by 2 or 3% because last year we did 100,000 or etc. I hope that makes sense, but please continue asking questions and we'll definitely jump into Q&A. I'll create a lot of time for us to do Q&A so we can help answer all of these for you. Cool. So you want to go through a SWOT analysis. For everyone out there, this is a really good way to get a visual understanding of your SWOT, of your strengths, your weaknesses, opportunities, and just overall threats for your organization and what you can do to kind of prep for it. And it's a really good visual to understand where your organization stands. So you want to reflect on 2022, decide what is and what isn't working, where to improve, and how to overcome those challenges. So when you go into your strengths, identify what's working, what's going really well for you all. Maybe it's just your team. Your team communicates extremely well, and that's your strength, right? Or it could be that fundraiser, that golf fundraiser you do, that's the one that wins every year. Write that down. Weaknesses, what can be done better or removed? Identify your weaknesses. What are you doing that's not really well? What are you doing that's also just needs to be cut out? And overall, just weaknesses. It could also be with the team, right? Maybe you just don't understand the tech platform, or you don't understand all the new social changes that are happening. It's very common. It happens with me as well. I pop into Facebook and it's a whole new, picture, and they always update. They don't tell you anything. I'm like, I don't know what's happening here. So it could be anything, but you just want to identify those for yourself. Opportunities, what are we not doing that could help us achieve our goals? Definitely want to figure out your opportunities, right? So are there any major things happening in a city or in your state that you could be a part of? This is the time to start doing that research and start planning for it. So good opportunity is the Nonprofit Marketing Summit, right? It's a big 3-day event. You can network with 20,000+ organizations, but you also get to learn a lot of information with all the speakers. And there's a lot of stuff, a lot of new tools that we bring as well that you can try and test and see if they help your organization run more efficiently and drive more donors. And then threats, what obstacles are in the way? 2023, the year of uncertainty, right? Economy and all these things are changing. That's a big threat. How do you plan on, moving around that? So it's really good to start thinking through that as you're building out your marketing strategy. So let's review a bit more on that. So what brought in the most funds for you, right? When it comes to your strength, what channels are most effective? Something else I would think through. What do we see similar in organizations that are doing well? I'm a big fan of this. There's no reason to reinvent the wheel. It's already created. Just see what other organizations are doing well. And that's also a good indicator that you can try it too. So it's not all about you just kind of sitting there and writing out this crazy elaborative strategy and filling in through a template. See what everyone else is doing really well, and then see how you can replicate it and make it better. Where were the gaps in your resources? I know a lot of organizations have small marketing teams. Maybe that's one of the gaps. And if that is the gap, how do we fix it, right? Ideally, just take on less, right? And put more of your focus onto the channels that are working really well as you're reviewing your strengths and weaknesses. Sometimes you were too spread out and you were focused on the weakness, and you won't know unless you really take a look at that. So that's, where we kind of end off with that, with some of the things that you really want to think through when you're setting up this nonprofit marketing strategy. I really want you to think through like that SWOT analysis, really going through that strengths and those weaknesses, and really just dedicating time to really thinking through that. If you need us to help you walk through some of that game planning, please scan that QR code. We can help you with that. I know a lot of this information is new and it's also wild, but please make sure you scan that QR code so we can help you identify some of these things, help answer questions, kind of help you along the way to, answer this, because there's a lot more information and and to me, sometimes it could be information overload. So scan that QR code, come chat with us. We can help you kind of explore your biggest opportunities for growth in 2023 and really help kind of identify like where your focus should be. So there's a link there, QR code, but there's also a link in the chat. So feel free to book that, come chat with us, make it easier. Why do all the work yourself? Cool. So second piece is audience evaluation. So the purpose of this is to know who you're speaking to, so your marketing efforts are most effective. This informs strategies, brand, tone, and communication. This is very, very important. We live in a world of personalization. If I started chatting about cryptocurrency and cars, think about it. This would not be a very strong and really fun, valuable webinar. Why? Because it's not why you came here. Same thing for your donors and your audiences, right? If you're targeting them and you're saying stuff that they're just not completely aware of and it's not very personalized, it's not going to work. So you really want to think through who you're speaking to and create that most personalized setup for them. So the point of the target audience is define who you're marketing to, aka your ideal donor, the best target plus craft, and this will help you craft your communication as well. Like I mentioned earlier, I draw a stick figure person, I give it a name, and I honestly go to town. I spend a good 35 to 45 minutes, sometimes longer. Teams get mad at me, but I'm really trying to identify who am I going to be writing my ads to, my emails to really identify, how to set up this messaging that they're going to be seeing. And that's how you're going to increase your, conversion rates. So to focus on a key character like age, location, pains, trigger events, hobbies, personal challenges, goals, career, really try to identify everything about them. So think about some of your best donors and who are they. Now your goal is to replicate that person and find hundreds more. And the easiest way to do that is to break it down, figure it out, and then start talking to them. So an example here, a coastal preservation nonprofit would target people between the ages of 21 and 35. Again, I know sometimes it makes sense to target any range and everyone, but your goal here is personalization so you can get the messaging down really, really well. These individuals may have experienced damage or pollution of their waterways in their neighborhoods. They're both male and female, college educated, live active outdoor lifestyles. So us knowing this makes the personalization ad writing really easy, to email, to ads, to stories, to posts. And this is how we grow, donor bases for our organizations, even for ourselves, by truly understanding our market and by speaking to them and speaking to their pain points and solving those for them while we're, speaking to them. Because like here, we know this is a, 21 to 30-year-old audience. We can create a communication log for that specifically, and then talk about pollution and talk about how community and neighborhoods are experiencing, bad water and et cetera. And now that message will resonate with them. So some of the best practices for defining your target audience is going to be to analyze your current donor base, as mentioned before. You want to collect data from focus groups on your community. So if you have a Facebook page, Instagram, please dig through that data and try to see who they are. What are they talking? What do they engage with the most? Really think through some of those things. That also helps you create posts on your Facebook and your Instagram pages, right? And then explore similar organizations that are targeting the same people, right? See what are they saying? See their messaging. It's a really good way to kind of, again, not reinvent the wheel, but see what kind of messaging they're saying and see how you can make yours better to just personalize your stuff to your audience a little bit more. Next piece, you want to create a persona. So using your target audience, create a donor persona. This will help you translate information into messaging. As mentioned before, so your most important thing is going to be, what are your donors or potential donors seeing in a message? If I'm a new person, I'm on Instagram, I'm scrolling, and an ad pops up, says donate now, support kids, support kids in Mississippi. The chances of me doing it are like not very high. Why? Because I'm supporting kids in San Diego where I live and I care about my community more, right? It could be something like that. But if you target that a little bit better and just say, hey, we know you love to support children living in, various areas and you love supporting like the education behind it. Please consider giving, $5 here. That resonates a little bit better. And my chances of giving are higher now. Why? Because you're personalizing the message to me more. Yeah. So a donor persona defines the characteristics, likes and dislikes, needs, expectations, desires, motivations, demographics, attitudes, behaviors, literally anything you can think of. So just think through that as you're writing out your, persona. You really want to identify who these people are so you can make your messaging relatable, and so it makes sense to the people that are going to be seeing it, especially if you're targeting new donors. So here's some more persona examples. Again, if you download a template, I know Candace is putting it in the chat here. Please make sure, there's going to be a lot of examples in there, but here's some of them here. So example, our coastal preservation restoration org. Persona 1 is Ryan, a young active male. See, we named them. You want to name your people, it makes it a lot easier. Then you go through their lifestyle. Right. So Ryan works remotely from his condo, 15 minutes from the beach in San Diego. He gets up early, goes surfing every morning right before work. He's single, he owns a dog, and is financially stable. It's really good to know. Personal background, he's 27 years old, grew up in San Diego and loves the beach. Their challenge and pain points, coastline. He loves surf is often polluted or off limits due to oil spills. He wants to keep surfing every day, but it is becoming dangerous. So you can see here how we're breaking down who this individual is and really writing out a description of who our target market is going to be. And once we identify that, our pictures, our content, everything's going to connect to this person's lifestyle, right? So it will be a picture of a surfer. It'll be, a video of a surfer walking to the beach, ready to surf. And it's like, oh no, unfortunately you can't surf because something happened. And are you tired of this, right? But you relate the message to them and then you ask for the donation. But flat out asking just never works. And we see it too often. So really write out your persona example. And here's a really good one. Everyone's going to get a copy of this deck. So it's going to be here. But if you're writing stuff now, this is a really, lifestyle, personal background, their challenges, and then overall their background, like business background, and then where they go for information. Try to learn where do these people try to get some solutions, or what are they doing when they're not happy with their current situation. Next is the competitive analysis. So the purpose here is to identify what makes your organization unique and more opportunities for improvement. So research nonprofits that have a similar vision. What are we doing? And what are we doing that they aren't doing, right? What are they doing better? How can we use this to inspire our plans? So really try to identify what other organizations, what are they up to? Charity Water does a really, really amazing job with their social media. And we even go and we're like, man, what are they doing? How often are they posting? And they post a ton of stories and they're really, really cool. So it's like, how do we create some of this stuff? So look at your organizations that are similar to yours in your area or even national bigger orgs, and then try to identify what they're doing and then start kind of putting some of that into your strategy. So here's an example of a competitive analysis. So our coastal preservation, again, is our restoration org. It's like, what do they do? So Org A is a nonprofit that organizes community events to clean the coastline. How we compete? This competitor has a paid Google ads running for the same keywords we would like to rank for organically. This is very, very common. I hope everyone here has that Google ad grant. If you don't have the Google Ad Grant, there's a link there. You can check out a community boost. You can also come talk to us. We can help make sure you get it. But this happens a ton. So you have bigger orgs and they're ranking for the keywords that you want. And there could be your organic keywords as well, but they're showing up because they're utilizing the ad grant and you're not. So here's a really good example of in your strategy, it will be to set up your Google Ad Grant account and to make sure that it's active and running and ranking for the organic keywords. Organic keywords mean your organization name, right? That would be, or your like the things that are on your page, just so that way it links to your website. Third step is set goals, KPIs, and strategies. So purpose of this is to map out your 2023 goals and initiatives for measurable success. Remember, you want to measure everything. It's going to help you succeed a lot more if you're able to do that. So smart marketing goals. You want to tie in overall organization goals to specific marketing goals. So specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. So smart marketing goal example is going to look like this. So your description is, this year we will be implementing new tools to help us increase subscribing to our newsletter via social media, our website because it's on top channels, re-engaging donors, and turning one-time givers into recurring givers. Your goal initiative to consistently grow our list each month to nurture our community, plus boost retention. We also want this channel to become a reliable way to contribute to our monthly fundraising goals. Your metric to measure is 1 email sent a week, 500 new subscribers per month. So you're looking at a 20% open rate and a 7% click-through rate. For everyone here today, you should definitely know your open rates and your CTR, which is your click-through rates. You want to have, your open rates should be 30% or higher. Your click-through rates, anything above 5%, I'd consider a big win, but it also depends on the size of your list. But some organizations have, 40, 50% click-through rates. So it's like, how do you get there? So your KPIs in your channel. So purpose, what channels will be using to generate awareness, plus how will you be tracking the success? Will you have a different approach for each channel? This sometimes does happen. So for example, the purpose of channels for brand awareness, you want to measure the number of impressions you're receiving each month if you utilizing Google Ad Grant. If you think your audience is on Facebook, then you want to go ahead and utilize the reach aspect of it, right? Like how many people are you reaching on Facebook when you're running your ads or your posts? But that's going to help you connect with your brand awareness. If you're running email newsletters or promotions, it's like your goal could be to re-engage donors or build your community. Here, you want to measure that open rate and that click-through rate, and also seeing how many donations you're driving from this, channel. And if it's low, if the numbers are low, that just tells us we need to write better content, right? But by tracking these things and by understanding the metrics behind it, it helps us kind of identify the next step that you're needing to do. So suggested channels to consider in 2023. So this is really important as you're planning out your strategy. You really want to think through what channels you should be a part of, what you should be doing. I know there's a lot, but please keep in mind that you don't need to participate in every single channel. What you want to do is truly identify where your organization thrives the most, and then how can you double down there, and how can you dedicate more time to that, and then allocate 10-20% of your time to just be testing something else. You don't have to just go all in on everything and then drown in work. So website conversion design. This is where you have a little pop-up that kind of just pops up while you're on your website. It could also be a little bar above the website. But conversion designs, there's a lot of free tools out there. We'll share some of those as well, but that could be something to test if you don't have it. Email marketing. Email is huge. Multi-channel. This is obviously social media with TikTok, video on Instagram, Reels, all that fun stuff. Social media, paid social ads, I think is definitely something you should be, focused on. The Google Ad Grant, 100%. It's free money from Google. Please utilize it. If you're looking for more information, I know Candace will add stuff into the chat, but you can also join our Digital Marketing for Nonprofits Facebook group where you can learn more about these channels. You can also focus on remarketing with YouTube and display ads. You also have the Microsoft Ad Grant, $3,000 a month of free ad spend. Microsoft is a great opportunity, especially if you have like a middle age to older age demographic. Microsoft is amazing for that. And then you have SMS. Text messaging is huge. Have you tried it? Try it, right? We have a really amazing partner, James over Rally Corp, who, they only work with nonprofits for text messaging, and it'd be such an amazing opportunity to, try out. So if you haven't, right, there's a ton of channels, but if you haven't, you're still kind of confused, a bit lost, come to the Nonprofit Marketing Summit and check out what this big 3 days is going to be about. Scan that QR code, come register. It'll be super, super fun. And also make sure you get your game planning session. It's really important. Like if you want to put all this to work, scan that QR code and then fill things in. It'll make it a lot easier for you. Because like I said, there's a lot of things to go over. You want to check out your strengths, check out your weaknesses, identify your audiences and that persona to truly step in and understand who your audience is, what your organization is planning to do and wanting to do for 2023. And you can just kind of plug and play into that template. So let's jump into the Q&A. I know there's a lot of questions. I went through it a bit fast because I want to get to the questions. I think it'll be a lot more, valuable if we jump in some of the Q&A, but you all will receive this deck and you kind of go through this stuff as well. All right, well, if you want to ask questions, please continue asking your questions in here regarding your marketing strategy and just whatever help you need, I'm here to answer them. So Brittany said, what type of content is best for Twitter? Feels all over the place now. Very true, Brittany, very true. Twitter is like a news, like a news article, like a like a newscast thing, right? So people go to Twitter to get quick updates and information of what's happening in the world. So if you're going to utilize Twitter, I would highly, highly recommend taking snippets of what you're posting on your story and taking those snippets, shorten them up to like maybe just a sentence and posting that to Twitter. The best content is ideally just small, quick updates on what is happening with your organization. So we find it best that, let's say your organization is a humane society. Twitter's a great place to share updates of pets being adopted, pets being taken in, quick little things like that. You don't need to show pictures in Twitter or anything like that, although a lot of people use pictures and GIFs. Twitter's a really good news outlet, essentially, to just let people know quickly what's happening in the world. I hope that answered your question. And you can also keep, if there's a follow-up, feel free to add that in there. But I would just keep it short, snippet, and just share updates of your organization is probably the easiest option there. Emily asked, do you have resources to switching to GA4 and installing the Facebook pixel? Yes, we do. Candace can share some of those resources here in a link. When it comes to Google Analytics 4, we have resources as well. Emily, your best bet, honestly, would be you could just connect with our team and they can send all of that to you as well on the call, and they can help you essentially start putting those things on. That'll be your best and probably easiest, and it'll save you probably a bunch of time. But when it comes to GA4, it is a little bit of a process. So if you have a developer on your team, I would highly recommend taking that work over to them. If you don't, you can talk to our team and we can help you with it and get that switch. But GA4 is definitely there's a lot of like coding, not a lot, but there's a few codes and stuff that you need to implement to your website. And if you understand it, awesome. I personally don't do it because I don't want to break anything. And then regarding the Facebook pixel, it is easy to install. If you are on WordPress, you can literally just download a plugin, Facebook pixel, and just put it on there. If you're not on WordPress, or you want to do it through Google Analytics, you have like Google Tag Manager set up. You can do it through Google Tag Manager. If it's active, you can just copy the pixel and place it there. We do have resources that Candace is adding in the chat. Maya, what is a Facebook pixel? It helps you track. It helps you collect data of all the people visiting your website so you can retarget them. So for me, I was looking at shoes the other day, and Nike followed me all throughout Instagram and Facebook, telling me I should buy them at 20% off. So it kind of helps you do that. Cool. Kristen said, if you don't cover it in upcoming slides at the end, would you please explain a little more about how to increase ROI? Great question. So return on investment, how do you increase it? honestly, the easiest way to increase it is by A/B testing everything you're doing. So at Community Boost, we always launch 2 of everything essentially. So when we run our campaigns, we always run 4 to 5 different audiences, and then we run 4 to 6 different ads. So there's always 2 versus 2 essentially. And we're trying to identify which ad and which audience works the best. Once we identify the winner, we then allocate more money there and we turn off the others. And that helps increase the ROI. So, if we're spending money and not driving from those other ones, then our ROI would decrease. So if you're running ads, that's the way I would do it, just by A/B testing a lot of different types of ads. But if you're running email, the best way to increase your ROI is same thing. If you have an email list of, 100 people, first send 2 different emails to 40 people. So 20 a piece, 20 people get email A, 20 people get email B. Send it out, see which one brings the highest open rates and click-through rates, and then the other 60 will receive that better email. And that's a really easy way for you to increase your return on investment, because you're now setting the better quality content that's kind of proven to work better. But testing is always important. Let's see. Okay, in a competitive, Maya asked, in a competitive analysis, how would you identify the competition, or what the competition does? Like, how would you know they do Google ads? Yeah, really amazing. So actually, if you Google a lot of these organizations, their ad is going to pop up on top of Google. That's really a good way to see it. Another thing is, if you haven't done this already, but you can go into Google and you can see all the organizations that have the Google ad grant. Like, this is all open information, and you can identify to see like who has it, and that's a really good way to kind of step into that. But a lot of organizations, if you just Google their names, they pop up. If you search for yourself right now, you'll see if your ad pops up. If it doesn't, then that means you don't have a high Google organic ranking, or you're not ranking for that keyword. If you type in your organization name and another org pops up, that means they're targeting your keyword. It's a really good way for you now to improve your Google Ad Grants account. It's a really easy way to kind of look at that. Brittany says, do you have any experience / advice with paid ads on LinkedIn? Yes. LinkedIn is a phenomenal platform, but definitely used for corporate giving. I wouldn't really focus it on like one-to-one giving. A lot of corporate companies match donations as well. Like Coca-Cola, I think, does it, where like if certain employees, like if certain employees donate, then Coca-Cola will match it. There's a lot of cool like corporate programs that your nonprofit can be a part of. LinkedIn works really well with that. If you're looking to just target, person A to give on LinkedIn, it's a little harder. Only reason why is LinkedIn ads are expensive. The cost per acquisition is higher. So I would recommend, if you're doing LinkedIn, to target, companies, and you're asking companies to give. So you would target like directors and managers, decision makers, and ask them for a bigger lump sum of a donation versus just, donate $50 or $100. So LinkedIn is primarily used for larger donation numbers, but does work really well. We had some success with it. It just costs a little bit more. I think the minimum daily spend is like $10 or $20. So just have a little bigger budget for it. All right. Shannon asked, I know you focus on nonprofits, but how different would you say government public service agencies are with their marketing plan? For example, we wouldn't have donors. It's a really good question, Shannon. Who are you targeting? If you'll put it in chat. If you're not targeting for donations, what are you targeting for? Are you doing for like awareness, voting, public transportation users? Amazing. Yeah. So when you're running Facebook ads, you have the option to select a special category, and government is one of them, for like social, like anything for like social issue and policy and things like that. So you first will have to select that, and then Facebook will let you run ads specific to who you're looking for. So there's honestly a ton of people that you can target in personas, like Facebook interest groups that are regarding public transportations and that are needing it. You can also target in Facebook, when you look at the map of targeting, like you can point down to your exact city and zip code, and you can select like geotunnel is what it's called. And you can select people that live in certain neighborhoods where the rate of public transportation is higher. That'll probably be that'll be like a really awesome approach that I would use. So you can focus your, ads and your marketing strategy on targeting people that way. Same thing when it comes to your demographic, identifying public transportation users on the demographic side of who are they, right? Is it the younger demographic, older, but really pinpointing like where's that higher percentage, and then targeting them that way as well through Instagram and Facebook and etc. But Facebook ads probably be your best bet if you're driving for awareness. It's really easy, doesn't cost a lot, but you could just pinpoint and do a geotunnel target right on that location address, and it'll work really, really well. All right. We have a few more questions. I'm running through these. I don't do this much talking, so this is really exciting, but it's probably so much information. But please, if you have any other questions, you can also email me if you want, ernie@communityboost.org. I'll be more than happy to help everyone here. Let's see. Daphne says, we do not really receive donations in a traditional sense as versus more restricted due to our field. So is there a way to better target donors that are more contractually obliged? Yeah, 100%. Email is probably your best bet. If you're having a hard time running ads or running things to people, to asking for donations, email is going to be your best friend. Finding ways to generate emails, so like lead generation campaigns, will be your best bet to do that. And then having a really, really strong email campaign, so email automation series that's going to be targeting these people. So if you're not looking to target them, or if you can target them because due to the restrictions, email is going to be your best way. So you can do a lead gen. Actually, lead gen can do anything, can be anything. You're just trying to get their information. So complete this, you get a free donut, and then you get their information. And then from there, you just rely on a really strong email campaign to drive those donations and to increase them, and to increase your existing donors and their donations, but amounts, but also with those new donors, you can work with them. But that'll be my approach for that. Thank you for the Twitter insight. What about Instagram? Instagram stories or reels. Okay. Post stories once a day, post reels at least 2-3 times a week. And then you can post a post like once a week. That would be my recommendation. Reels help you with awareness. It'll target everyone, not just followers. Literally everyone, the social world will see it. So reels, stories, posts. Stories, post them. So stories once a day, reels 2 to 3 times a week, and post once a week. This will help you, and it targets literally everybody, and it's a really easy way to drive awareness to your organization. It doesn't cost you anything. Highly recommend that. All right, we got 2 minutes. We got this. Let's see if we can run through them. Let's see. Jay asked, I was wondering if you could speak on automation. Obviously, some is bad and can get you banned, but I've heard it can be useful in certain cases, like auto posting between platforms and whatnot. There are some useful cases, marketing automation, that would be worth looking into. Yeah, I mean, automation is everything. I love automation. It really just depends. We haven't run into any issues with like auto posts being done on like, Facebook and Instagram, but it really just depends. Content Cal, or not Content Cal, sorry. Hootsuite is a really good tool that allows you to automatically post on multiple channels. But yeah, I mean, anything you can automate works. The biggest thing with automation is making sure it's set up right. We use Zapier a lot as well, and that kind of helps pre-fill a lot of things, but it definitely it works really well. We use automation a lot for like our internal stuff. It makes our lives a lot easier. How do you define your target audience if it's a mix of different age ranges? Jenny asked. Jenny has an amazing question. You need to kind of really identify who they are. So if you do have a mixed age range, it's really good to send out some feelers and see which one of those ages is better than the other, right? Which one performs better? There's always going to be a winner and a loser, essentially, but you really want to pinpoint who that winner is so you can dedicate more time to them. And then the other audience, of course, they're still donating. They just not might be donating the same amounts. You can dedicate a little bit more time in nurturing them to, increase those donations, but run a test, run a little bit better of a better test, I'd say, to really pinpoint who the winners are between those two age groups. So then you can strategize your messaging to them. Sidebar question. All right, we got one more. Let's see what we got here. Create this audience data based off the any suggestions. Trying to think what would be any suggestions on how to learn about email database, super high open rates. I have no idea why. Newer to this org. All right, Brittany, great question. Yeah, so Candace, if you can put in chat for the Community Boost Accelerator, I think that'll be super helpful. But if you're new to a lot of stuff and you don't know how to do something, we just, I'm a creator of this program. We launched it called the Community Boost Accelerator. You can come join it. It's really, really fun. And you get to learn how to operate all the channels. And you also can, you know, apply a lot of these things with us. Like we jump on a call with you and we do it with you. So you can pop in an accelerator. It'll be super fun. I know Candace will put in a link. But regarding your question on the email database, to drive high open rates, and because you have high open rates, very low click-through rates, that just means you're not creating a lot of buttons, and the people are not seeing where to click. So you want to go ahead and focus on that. If you're sending emails and they're too long, that also could be a problem. So concise, small emails is what wins. Think about yourselves when you're reading emails. When an email comes in, you're home hanging out, you don't read all of it. You just kind of skim through. So try to like compact those emails, make them shorter, and then call to actions, make them big, make them stand out so they're easy to find, easy to click. But for everyone that's new, I know Candace just put it in. Apply for the Community Boost Accelerator. It's worth it. You'll love it, and you'll get to learn. Plus, you get to connect weekly with Community Boost team, and they literally help do all the work for you and with you. So super worth it if you're new. Highly recommend that. But that's it. It's 11 o'clock. I want to answer all these questions. I feel bad I didn't get to all of them, but is there insight on the last one then? Maria, is there insight on when the Microsoft nonprofit ad grant will be back? No insight, but last time they were down for about 2.5 months. It was about little under 90 days. So it could be that. So just keep applying, keep checking it. And, but typically last time they were down was about 65, I want to say it's 70 days. So, and then should you start planning if you're still waiting for your EIN? Alaya, yes, plan. So you definitely want to start planning, even if you're waiting for your EIN, because if you have your plan in place, once that EIN comes in, like you're ready to go, right? So definitely have that plan set up, because without a marketing plan, a strategy, it's really hard. You catch yourself doing a lot of work, and sometimes it's just not, valuable at times, because you can get off track really easy. Well, thank you everyone for joining. I know that was a lot of information. I'm so sorry, but I feel like this is such, when it comes to creating a marketing game plan, there is a lot of information. There's a lot of stuff to think through, but just use the templates that we created, rewatch this again. Really just take your time and identify what you're trying to accomplish. Give yourself like 3 or 4 goals. Don't try to do so many, and then really just break down your audience and the personas and who they are. And that will help you kind of shape your messaging and also shape which way and where you should be focusing. And if you need help, there's a link there. Come talk to us, come hang out with us. We can help you identify those opportunities and identify those channels. So I would honestly do that. It makes your life easier. And if you want, you can also join the accelerator. If you want to truly learn how to do this stuff for yourself and just for your org, you can come join that as well. It's super fun, and you get to actually work with our team essentially one-on-one all the time. Yeah, and we do have a Facebook page. You can connect with us on our Facebook page. I know Candace put in here a link. Candace is out there just running around trying to find all the links for you all. It's going to be in the deck as well, I'm sure. But yes, please come join us, hang out with us more. If you haven't, sign up for the Nonprofit Marketing Summit. That's going to be, honestly, if you love information, if you love learning, it's going to be amazing. I'm trying to find it for you all. It's somewhere here. There it is. Come join the summit. It's going to be super, super fun. The Accelerate program is going, so it's active. It's super fun. The office hours are happening right now, actually. So organizations that are part of the Accelerator, they actually get to join office hours every single week and essentially just learn how to do stuff. So it's really, really fun. So join us either way. Come chat with our team, help identify your game plan, but also come join us at the Nonprofit Marketing Summit. All the links are there. Thank you all for coming. Thank you. Appreciate everyone, and we'll see you all soon.